It's been a week since the Ultimate Edition launch of State of Decay 2, and it seems like the title is doing pretty well for itself, judging by this Microsoft PR that they put out earlier today. It talks about how many players they've had since launch, and also talks about breaking a record. What record, you might ask? Well, I'm going to try to explain the best I can right now. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. I hope everyone's having a great start to the holiday weekend. If you have some time to spare, make sure you check out the podcast with myself and Jazz Corden that we did yesterday. It would be greatly appreciated. But on to the news about State of Decay 2, and it seems that Microsoft might have another hit on their hands thanks to Xbox Game Pass. Now, 2 months ago, Sea of Thieves launched, and Microsoft talked about how many players they had in a week, and it was about 2 million, thanks to the retail sales and Xbox Game Pass. Well, State of Decay 2 didn't reach those heights, but it has hit 1 million players in its first 2 days. You can tell from the title, which was written by Aaron Greenberg, that State of Decay 2 breaks record with over 1 million players in first 2 days of global release. Now, the question I had when reading this title was, what record did they break? And the first 2 days of global release, what does that mean? Does it mean the first 2 days after the Ultimate Edition release, or the first 2 days after the regular release of the game, the $30 version, as well as the Xbox Game Pass version? And if you read this article, it kind of becomes apparent that they're talking about the first 2 days after the release of the game on Game Pass and the $30 version came out. They go on to say here, since early access for the Ultimate Edition on May 18th and the global release of the Standard Edition, there they use the global release, which ties into the title, which that's how you know that's what they're talking about. We've had over 1 million survivors across the globe playing and creating their own survival zombie story. Or zombie survival story. Throughout launch, there have been over 6 million combined hours of State of Decay 2 gameplay, and we've watched nearly 3.5 million hours of gameplay across Mixer, Twitch, YouTube gaming from over 41,000 unique broadcasts. Microsoft loves throwing in those stats about Twitch and YouTube and how many people watch what and how many hours are played. They don't really like giving sales numbers anymore. You compare and contrast that to Sony the other day, basically saying God of War sold through 5 million copies in a month. But Microsoft doesn't like to give out that information. It's been apparent for a long time now. They like to give out other types of information, 1 million players. That's what it ties into what Microsoft really cares about, at least recently. Not so much the console sales itself or the sales of the games, but the monthly active users. And you know this to be true because they talk about it all the time as a metric to how well the system is doing. A lot of people don't really like hearing that, but that's how Microsoft is presenting it. So, you know, when they judge success by how many people are playing a game, and that's what it seems to be here. 1 million players in basically a week. So the game launched on Tuesday, so 2 days after, Wednesday, Thursday. So 1 million players in a week, about 1 million less than Sea of Thieves. But of course, State of Decay 2 didn't really have the hype or the advertising on the level of Sea of Thieves. It wasn't a first-party game from, you know, a prestigious studio like Rare. So of course, this game probably wasn't going to reach the level that Sea of Thieves did, but honestly, I think State of Decay 2 is a much better game than Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves didn't have any content, where it seems State of Decay at least has content. It's just not a very polished game. There's a lot of bugs. It uses peer-to-peer networking when it really should be using the Azure servers. Anyways, my thoughts about State of Decay 2 are in my review if you really want to check that out. But it wouldn't be a Microsoft PR release without some useless information that they love to throw in there. And here they go. Across player communities, we've seen survivors kill over 675 million zombies, throw over 6 million firecrackers and fireworks, eat over 6 million bags of snacks, read over 2 million textbooks, and typically survive for about 3 days, with some players surviving for over an in-game month. A lofty goal to aim for your session this weekend. See, I love that. I mean, they don't really tell you how well the game's doing. They just like throwing some random statistics in there to make it seem overwhelming. 675 million zombies does sound like quite a bit. But the big number to take away here is the million players, right? That's the big number, and I think that has to do with the power of Xbox Game Pass. Now, will this game fall off like Sea of Thieves seems to have? If you look at the most played game chart on Xbox, Sea of Thieves is like number 25. It's up to the developers of this game to provide constant content, to keep people engaged and keep on playing in a way that maybe it didn't turn out for Sea of Thieves, even though there is that first content drop coming out for that game next week. Will we see people come back to it? I don't know. But this does speak to how Game Pass is a great value. Now, you could argue, and I've already seen some people say this, that it has 1 million players because, 1, everybody's game sharing, 2, everybody's using the free 14-day trial to Game Pass, they just refund and cancel, yada, yada, yada. A whole bunch of just kind of funny memes have sprung up about this, and it probably will never go away. It will never go away whenever an Xbox game tends to do pretty well. People will come with the excuses, especially with Game Pass out there. Is some of that true? Yeah, some of it's probably true. People do game share. I'm sure there are people out there that used their free 14-day trial and canceled right after it, so they didn't have to pay for it. I'm sure there are people that bought this game and refunded it, but I'm sure that's true for any game that really comes out on the service. I'm just really impressed with how Game Pass seems to be elevating the stature of these titles. I didn't really expect to see 1 million players on this game, even though it is a sequel to a high selling or a 5 million seller on XBLA. I didn't really feel the hype for this game from the Xbox community and just the gaming community in general as I did Sea of Thieves. Like, Sea of Thieves wasn't too surprising to me, but this one is. And I wonder if that's because of the effect that Game Pass has, where you sub for $10 and you get the game. It's a really cheap option to play it. Now, you may be wondering, breaks record, right? What record did it break? We read this whole PR piece. There's no mention of it breaking any records. So is it really just a bad title, or is there something, here that I'm just not seeing? Well, I've asked around, and apparently the record that it broke is the, first week or first 2 days numbers of the players that the original State of Decay had. And that's basically about it. It had more players in the same time frame that the original State of Decay had, which I would hope so. That game didn't have multiplayer like this game does. Although you could argue that the user base was bigger on the 360 when that game launched back in 2013 or 2012 than the Xbox One has right now in 2018. Either way, I think it's a pretty damn good start for State of Decay 2. I think this proves there is a ton of people subscribed to Xbox Game Pass that want fresh new content. And realistically, it's up to the developers and Microsoft to keep people on these games. Maybe it didn't turn out so well for Sea of Thieves, but maybe it'll be something different for State of Decay 2. Anyways, guys, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. Share this out on Twitter. You know what to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.